Good morning everyone, I'm Gary Martin, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of an experiment where we get a gadget that I bought off Amazon to try to bring alive my 60-degree wedge. Well, this isn't my 60-degree wedge because we're experimenting today, and we're going to be experimenting with a groove sharpener that's USGA and RNA conforming, and it costs under £10, and we're going to see if we can prolong the life of a 60-degree wedge, which, you know, it looks in pretty decent condition, but it's probably about 5 or 6 years old now, and, you know, I've had a little bit of a play with it. It doesn't spin a great deal, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that's got a wedge that they love, you know, still in good condition, and might just want to prolong the life for it. Wedges aren't cheap these days, and you know, like I said, what's inspired this video is that I'm using a specialist wedge, a 60-degree wedge, which cost me a lot of money, and it's in very good condition, but I wanted to see what happens when we sharpen the grooves and how much actually extra spin it puts on the ball. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be getting up in the swing room and having a look on the GC2 quad, the difference between, you know, how it performs as standard and then when we put some grooves in. I'm going to explain to you a little bit about grooves as well, because this groove sharpener gives you some different options. You've got the V groove and the U groove, so I'm going to explain the differences between them, and yeah, let's not keep you waiting any longer. So here we have it, our new groove sharpener, which I did buy a branded one because I wanted it to be searchable for you guys. If this experiment goes well and you want one, it was $7.99. I got free shipping because I spent over £25, but you can get it shipped on its own for $9.99, and it's called the Giozo groove sharpener, which comes with, I don't want to blow your mind on this, but it comes with 4 V grooves and 2 U grooves. We're going to be using the U groove today because that groove is the one that gives you the most spin when you're coming out of semi-rough and rough, and that's where, you know, now my wedge is getting tired, I do notice when I'm landing onto firm greens that it doesn't bite quite as much as I'd like, you know, and I don't want to spend £150 on a new wedge. It was a custom wedge. I'll show you a close-up of that one. It's got all stamped up with my initials on, but I just want to bring it to life a bit. I'm hoping this experiment works well today so I can use it on my own wedges. And then, you know, just briefly touch on, we've got the V groove as well, you know, which is more of a traditional groove, you know, one that's used a little bit more. And, you know, if you're using that V groove, you can clean it out and just resharpen it a little bit with these, obviously, heads here, which are all slightly different shapes. You've got to just find out which one fits in yours the best, which you'll be able to do, you know, just by sort of going along and feeling which one fits in there nice. Or you could really go all out and make your V groove into a U groove, and you know, that would get really spicy. You know, you'd really notice a big difference if you did that. Because the U groove is a lot more sort of reactive, like I said, you know, are all different lies. So we're going to test the wedge first of all as it is. It's about 5-year-old, and see what spin numbers we get, and then we're going to re-groove it and see how much difference it makes. So I'm going to hit 4 shots. I'm going to play sort of like a bit of a 3/4 swing, trying to sort of hit this 60-degree around about 50 yards. I'm not going to play sort of a full shot. I'm going to try and keep it a pitch swing. And then we're going to have a look at the numbers. $66 yards. I'll keep that same length for swing. This isn't my wedge, so maybe it is a bit stronger, but I'll keep that same length a swing. Pretty much the same again. 68 yards. Just make sure I get that dot point at the screen. Just have a couple more. $72 yards. Not bad. I'm keeping them in a nice little cluster. We'll just have one more. It's going to be really interesting to see how much difference it makes on a sort of 60 to 70 yard shot when we've re-grooved them. That were a nice strike. And sort of 70 yards again. Right, we're going to get the groove sharpener out. Let's have a look at this. So it's becoming a bit of a garage style video. Obviously we're not using the workshop here, but I guess this is what it's going to be like for you guys at home if you give this a go. Oh, I can really feel that cutting away. So the bottom 2 grooves were very, very, added some, don't know, you can just feel it taking a little bit of the sides away. So that one didn't feel so bad. Now this one I can already see there'd been like a stone chip there, and it had damaged the groove. So I knew it were going to be a bit more difficult. That one's really took some off. These grooves are really bad actually, which you couldn't tell, you know, you can't tell at first glance. That one, that's it. You know when they're clean because it just glides across there without sort of taking anything away. And I can see the ones I've done because the sort of chrome, it's took the sort of finish off, or the rust off the top. Oh, that one had a lot there to get through. So now we've re-grooved it, I'm going to try and aim to hit these 4 shots 65 to 70 yards, you know, putting a similar swing on it. Or a good strike. I don't know whether it's just placebo, but it almost felt as though it had spun a little bit more, or spinned a little bit more, should I say. Oh wow, you can actually see a little bit of debris off the club face. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to just sort of glare it around, but there's a little bit of the outer shell of the ball on the club face there. So it really has got into that ball. Be interesting to see what the numbers show. I think that one were a tad thin. Just remember that one, guys, when we're looking at the results in the conclusion. That second one in, after re-grooving, it felt as though I'd caught it a tad thin. We might have to disable that one when we start to look at the numbers. That was spinny. It's tearing these balls up. That could be something we've got to be, you know, we've got to consider. If you're using brand new balls, do you really want to be tearing them up? Sorry about that, guys. We're having to use a ball with the little aluminium spots on so it picks up the spin, and I've just put 2 over the back of the screen, so I needed to find another one. Again, sent quite well struck, and we're getting that distance of sort of 65 to 75 yards, so we're in a nice cluster. So just looking at the numbers here, this was the pre-groove, so we've got these 4 backspin numbers here, which we're averaging 8.4, but I think that's flattering because the last one we got quite a lot of spin with. If you look at these numbers, you know, 7, 9, 8, 2, that's pretty much where we are. That's the sort of the pattern into it, and that's a bit of an anomaly. Now if we look here, I mean, the one that I caught a little bit thin and it went a little bit further, were actually, again, that was a bit of an anomaly. That were 9.5, but we've got 8, 9, we've got 9,000, we've got, you know, 9,100. So we look at, if you compare them 3 numbers with these 3 numbers here, I reckon there's nearly 1,000 RPM extra spin just from cleaning the grooves, you know, and sharpening them grooves. It's brought them back to life. I think there's something in that, guys. We're going to go and hit a few shots outside and, you know, see what happens, see how much it reacts on the green. So just for the purpose of the video, I wouldn't usually play this shot, but I'm going to play a couple of high flop shots from the edge of the green out with the semi-rough. It's quite a wet lie this morning. It's a bit of moist on the floor, to see how it reacts when it's on the floor. Looking forward to playing a couple of bunker shots actually, to see how much they spin. Oh, it stopped dead. It stopped absolutely dead. There was some right grass on club face there as well. As I say, it's not one I'd play when I'm not going over anything, but I'd certainly pull it out the bag if I were going over a bunker or something like that. It's stopping within 6 inch. There's no way that this, well, my wedge wouldn't even do that, and it's much newer than this. Let's hit some bunkers out the sand. I dare to say I might get a bit of backspin. It's rolled out a little bit. It's downhill though, remember. And the greens are slick. Slick. That were nice. Oh, it's nearly gone in. Oh. So I think in conclusion, it's safe to say that £10 has been well spent. It's certainly brought this wedge back to life, and it's given me that confidence now to use it on my own wedges, because, you know, I was walking from the swing room to the practice screen, and I jogged my memory back. So I'm a bit worried about that debris on the face, thinking, is it going to chew my balls up? But then, keep it clean, guys. Then I remember when I first bought my wedges, I did have the debris on my face. You know, when I first got the wedges, it used to do that to the balls, and you know, that's really brought this wedge back to life, like it's just come off the shelf. So I'm not worried about that, having, you know, jogged my memory back to when I first got my wedges, and I'm sure they'll settle down a little bit. But yeah, I think we've answered the question. The groove sharpener does work. It's legal, so don't take any stick off your mates if you try this. You know, it will improve your spin around the green. And happy days. You know, I'm going to keep that wedge at least an extra year now, and I might even sharpen it again in a year's time and keep rolling with that wedge, because it's one I love, and one that, you know, if I were to try and sell it privately, I might only get £25–30 for. So, you know, there we are. The £10 groove sharpener. Are you going to have it in your bag? Get in the comments, guys, let me know, and we'll see you guys in a few days' time. Bye.